This episode of Critical Hit is being brought to you by Harry's. Go to harrys.com/critical hit right now to redeem a special offer for fans of this show. Harry's will give you $5 off one of their shave sets. It's for a limited time only, so act now. That's harrys.com/critical hit to get $5 off and help support the show. Hi, everyone. It's Steven Schleicher, and man, summer is currently underway at the Major Spoilers HQ, which means I have a lot of interactions with kids. My oldest son is home for the summer, and we're finding all sorts of activities for him to do. Most of them right now involve photography, math, reading, and of course playing video games, which brings me into my interactions with other young ones because he has friends coming over and pool parties. And I had a very interesting conversation this week with someone who is, I want to say like 16, 17 years old. And she's really into Dungeons and Dragons. She's just discovered it in the last year. She plays it a lot with her friends. The problem that they've run into, though, is that only one member of their group is the GM, and more of them would like to do it. And she is thinking that over the summer, she wants to create her own game for everyone to play. Her own, well, I mean, it's RPG, but, her own encounter, her own campaign. And I was like, oh, cool. What are you going to do? And she really wants to set it in the world of Percy Jackson. And I don't know, listeners, is Dungeons and Dragons a good way to, is that a good system to use if you want to create a world of Percy Jackson? I mean, a lot of the Greek characters, the monsters that you would encounter are already in your Dungeons and Dragons books, your Medusas, your satyrs and those kinds of things. So that might be pretty easy, but I wonder if there aren't any other systems that might be better served for this. Now, I know that when we look in the world of popular book characters turned into RPGs, the Dresden Files is one that is out there that is pretty popular. I know that there is some stuff based on the Cthulhu mythos. We've played some of that here, and there's a fate system about Cthulhu coming up pretty soon. Of course, there's Conan the Barbarian and a bunch of games based on Middle Earth. There is a James Bond role-playing game, a John Carter role-playing game. I think Ringworld even has a role-playing game. So there's a lot of it out there. But I don't know, if these are all Dungeons and Dragons based games or if they're F20 games or D20, depending on which way you want to go with that. But I wonder, listeners, and so I'm asking for your help. You guys were excellent a couple of weeks ago when I was talking about my cat problems. You guys were excellent in responding with some advice and some directions on how to fix that problem. So help a teenager out as she tries to build her campaign set in the world of Percy Jackson. What is the best RPG system for her to use? I initially suggested Fate because it is so open-ended and so easy to use that I think that might be the best way for it. But many of you may be sitting there listening going, oh no, Pathfinder, Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition or 4th edition or whatever edition is actually the way she should be going. So here's what I'm asking you to do this week. Drop me an email, podcast@majorspoilers.com, and just let me know what would be the best system for her to create a Percy Jackson RPG adventure for her friends. Maybe there's already a Percy Jackson RPG out there and I'm just not seeing it. But see if you can help me out this week. Podcast@majorspoilers.com. As I said, summer is upon us, and I don't know about you, but when it comes to having hair all over my face and head, summertime is not the time that I want all of that stuff around. I'm more than happy to shave my head, more than happy to shave my face every time I can. But man, if you're going to the store all the time to get those razors, they can be expensive. And I don't like expensive. I like some good quality that is inexpensive. And that's where Harry's comes in. Harry's always gives me a very close, comfortable shave every time I use their sets. Here's a company that has these German crafted blades. There's 5 of them on a Flex Hinge lubricating strip with these razors. 100% quality guaranteed. If you're not happy with the razors, they'll refund you completely. The closeness of the shave is just that great. Now, Father's Day is just around the corner. And I know that there are many dads out there listening or kids that have dads out there listening. And sometimes dads are really hard to shop for. I know. I'm a dad and my wife and my kids are always throwing their hands up in the air going, we don't know what to get you. Here's an idea for Father's Day. Okay. Go to harrys.com/critical hit and get them a shave set. And they have a special offer going on right now that you're going to love and your dad will love too. Get those $5 off their shave set, which includes a limited edition Father's Day set when you go to harrys.com/criticalhit. Shave sets start at just $15. And again, when you go to harrys.com/criticalhit, you're going to get $5 off and you're going to get a razor handle. I love their razor handle. It's one of the best I've ever had. They've got the moisturizing shave gel and you get 3 of Harry's 5-blade precision engineered razors. So listeners, make yourself, make your father, make the summer special by going to harrys.com/criticalhit right now and redeem a special offer for fans of this show. Harry's gives you $5 off of one of their shave sets. It'll last you a long time. This is for a limited time, though, so you do need to act now. That's harrys.com/criticalhit to get $5 off. Help support this show. Thank you so much, Harry's, for supporting us and giving us all good, close, clean shaves. Welcome to Critical Hit, a Major Spoilers podcast. Thank you so much for downloading and sharing this episode with a friend or friends. You're allowed to share it with more than one,
but not more than 5.
That's been a big debate for the last couple of years. Is 5 really too many friends to share it with, or not? I vote for the over 5 is fine, but I guess Matthew's still in the
not more than 5. Only
keep
4 friends at a time.
Keep it close.
Well, you also have to have more than 5.
Oh.
Share it with as many people as you can. Hey, we are playing Pathfinder, and this is a weird Western tale. Sam's leading us in this journey, and Sam, let's see what happens this week.
So what happened last week?
On Critical Hit.
Go ahead.
I changed clothes.
Yes, a lot of party.
It was momentous.
Yes, party prep.
Yes. I didn't get fired.
Always a good day.
So one thing before we launch into the party is, I know, Rodrigo, you mentioned earlier that Shema was going to, when the Telegram office opened, send a message back. Was that still something you wanted to do? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And what are you sending?
I write it up ahead of time, and it'll be like back in Redemption leads, or rather, following a lead back to Redemption. No eyes on the piece yet, or something like that.
All right, cool.
But it'll be in Spanish.
Right, sure. Makes sense. Then let's go to the party. So everyone is able to acquire their invites or meet up with their escorts or meet up with the people they're escorting and converge on Miller Manor.
So, is it reasonable for me to conceal a revolver?
There's actually, when you get there, a weapon check.
Oh, okay.
Which
so
is
it's reasonable to try.
Yes. Cool. So yeah, there is a weapon check. They're not like patting people down or anything. They're just asking people to leave their weapons at the door.
Well, that should be okay for us, since we don't have weapons.
Yes.
So theoretically, one could smuggle in one's firearm.
Theoretically.
Presuming one's firearm is not overly
ostentatious.
What sort of check would that be?
Do you have sleight of hand?
I don't.
Okay.
Better learn it. Learn it quick.
It's not in class for me. I'll just check my revolver.
Cool.
Yep, that sure is my revolver.
And definitely make a note of where all the guns are.
Yeah, it seems like they're being kept outside of the house.
Mm-hmm.
So of note, the two people on bodyguard duty, you guys are with Palmer, who I don't know that I described yet. He's a older man, has a receding hairline, handlebar mustache, and is wearing a nice gray suit and tie with tall boots. And he's accompanied by his wife, who is quite pregnant. She's a bit younger than him, wearing a somewhat matching gray dress that is cut very loosely, but has very nice embroidery at, say, the sleeves and the trim. I'm trying to think. And Dawn is not allowed in this party.
Aww.
The people checking guns are not particularly nice about it.
They're checking dogs. Well, I shall instruct her to hang about outside.
Cool.
And certainly not to sneak in. Wink. Wink.
She, blinks at you.
I'm going to take that as a wink.
It's a double wink. Even
and
better.
enter. Awesome.
So this place is fancy. Miller's Manor is the largest house that in Redemption by far. And for, say, Eshin, it's the biggest house you've ever seen. It is well constructed, and there are clearly some parts of it that are newer, like obviously the guest house that you were working on earlier today, but there are it looks like this has seen several expansions. It is elegantly decorated. There's most notably speaking of where the weapons are kept, a wall that showcases a wide variety of weapons, though you think most of them are of the kind of historic or collectors in nature.
Yeah,
exactly. So there's a small revolver, a saber, a few different rifles. They look to be from different periods. You'd guess kind of going back 100 or 2 years, and from different styles. So there's one of that revolver is clearly Mexican made, for instance. And yeah, basically everyone who's anyone is here, and a lot of people you don't know. And that table that you helped move is actually displayed in the center of this kind of entry room where people are mingling. There's champagne being passed around and other people handing out plates with little hors d'oeuvres on them. And there's something on top of the table, but it's covered with a sheet.
Ah, okay. So there's nothing else on the table besides this thing and a sheet.
Yep.
Okay.
What does the thing look like?
It looks like from underneath the sheet, you can't really tell. It's kind of like a lumpy, uneven thing.
Is it a lumpy vertical thing or a lumpy horizontal thing?
Lumpy horizontal thing. You think it's taking up most of the surface of the table, but it seems to be of different, I guess, elevations within it. But none of the elevations seem to go above maybe half a foot.
Oh, maybe it's a maquette.
Oh. Does it resemble anything that we might have seen under other sheets?
You know what? Actually, I could take a profession engineering or profession carpentry. I think those would be the most relevant here.
Well, I'm out.
26 for me for carpentry.
Would I be getting a look at said sheet?
Oh, yeah. I mean, everyone is here, so
right.
You guys can all look at it.
I'll roll engineering here then.
We're all merging.
Not so.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, you're not sure what that is. Steven, you think that might be maybe a model or a diorama under there?
Okay.
Oh.
I won't say anything to anyone just because I don't want to ruin a surprise.
I don't want people to think I'm a nerd. But my diorama sense is tingling.
Flashbacks to 7th grade.
Yeah.
Rob, who do you want to be your primary person to protect, Mr. or Mrs.?
Mister.
Okay, I will take Mrs. then. So, as we're guarding these two, or kind of protecting these two, we'd probably always be within like 4 or 5 paces from them, but off to the side and out of the way so that we're not disturbing anyone.
Cool.
Yeah, this brings up an interesting thing to look at. How many people here appear to be Yojimbos, as it were? Like how much security? How many of the current guests are security detail?
Oh, got it. Why don't you make me a sense motive check?
Okay.
Stop using big
99%.
words.
Oh, sorry.
Yo, Jimbo.
Yep.
How's it going,
Let's
Jimbo?
see, sense motive. That is that. Actually, click on the bar. There we go.
Then twist the thing.
23.
So yeah, there's a not insignificant amount of security here. People have shown up in nice jewelry, nice clothing, and so there's some concern about robbery that makes sense. But with that check, you actually think that some of the serving staff might also be. They just hold themselves in a way that makes you think that they are not just professional waiters.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense for him to have some just around. Can I spot if anybody's packing?
Yeah, make a perception check. Cool.
26.
Oh.
Yeah, there are you get a guy who's kind of got like that manager air that is talking to another guy who has a plate of appetizers, and he like leans over and grabs a bite for himself, and like you spot a flash of a revolver, and then a little bit later you see a guy walk into a different guy walking into the kitchen, and he seems to be like looking around very pointedly, and you also think that he is armed.
Yeah. Okay. And both of these guys are clearly staff here.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have any sense of you think that there's like a possibility. There's let me see the cast of characters that are here. There's like 1 or 2 people you don't recognize that you think, you look at their clothing and there's a very real possibility that they might have some kind of weapon hidden there, but nothing certain.
Okay.
How is the party going?
Good. It's, people are still clearly gathering. It's early. There are, but people are mingling and chatting. And actually, Maria comes over to say hi to you. She is wearing a pretty nice dress. It's like red, and goes all the way down to her ankles. She's walking like a little bit awkwardly in high heel shoes. Clearly isn't quite used to that. And says, "Oh, I saw the work you did on the guest house. It's wonderful."
Oh, thank you, Maria. It was a pleasure to do the work, and might I say you look wonderful tonight.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I have heard rumors that I can't believe it. He's already thinking of expanding the house again. So if you are looking for more work, let me know.
Sure. As soon as I finish up the temple, which should be another week or 2, then yes, I would be free to help.
Excellent. Glad to hear it.
Very good. Did you come with anyone?
Oh, no, just me.
Oh, well, that's a shame that you're unescorted.
What about you?
I'm actually here guarding Mr. Palmer and his wife in case
Oh.
there would be any problems.
Well, let's hope it doesn't come to that.
I'm sure it won't, but you never can be too sure with, and as I kind of look around the room, all this wealth in the room, that the Reinhardts or someone else might get a notion in their head that this might be easy pickings.
Yeah. I've heard that the Renfields have been active recently. Well, there's supposed to be dancing later. I love your robes, by the way.
Oh,
I've never
thank
seen
you.
anything quite like that.
Yes, this is a ceremonial robe that we wear for special occasions.
Oh, well, so it's you brought it with you from San Francisco?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's lovely, very distinctive.
Thank you.
Well, I should, I guess, mingle a bit, but yeah, I'll see you around.
Yes, that would be great.
And then August gets a lot of attention. Lots of people want to come up and say hi and talk about your travels.
Oh yes, oh man, it's been very, very exciting recently. We are working on some major things. Yeah, we're really hoping the throughput is just going to be amazing here soon. I'm telling you though, images, we're really working on some great way to get images really going here, and that'll be huge. You just keep your eye out. You'll definitely see postings.
Yeah, Mayor Ford is there, and he is fascinated by this. He's like, oh, he's wearing like a really nice suit with a purple tie and a top hat.
Mm-hmm.
He's a bit on the pudgy side, and has like kind of rosy cheeks. And he's like, if that happens, you please let me know. I'd love to host some kind of ceremony to honor the first of these picture telegrams that come through.
Absolutely, yes. I'll definitely let you know when we're ready to roll that out here.
How exciting!
You'll be the first to know.
Oh, wonderful!
So basically, glad hand and mingle and schmooze and enjoy
Many other
concessions.
things.
The food, the drink.
Yes.
The drink.
The drink, the food.
drink.
Don't drink the food. It's painful.
Then for Chema, so Fritz introduces you to his wife, Raquel. She's wearing a velvety black dress, pearl necklace, and her hair's done up very nicely. It's black, though she's got a few streaks of gray. And she's like, my husband tells me that you're an investor.
I am. I am looking for a new places to sell our wares, and I am very interested in redemption. It looks like it is going to be sort of the gateway to the north, or the new one anyway.
Yes, that's certainly true. And where are you from again?
We are based out of Mexico City.
Oh, and what's the name of your consortium? Or
it is, you would know it mostly as Prado Brothers, Hermanos Prado.
do you want to make a bluff check?
Oh, yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
You had let me go unchallenged for like way too long, I felt.
Yeah,
Let's see.
just lulling you into a false sense of security.
I figured it was coming. 25.
Well, it's not bad. Just like, never heard of them.
Oh, you would not have. We are new.
When were you consolidated?
Just a few years ago, our father, I mean, we are a group of brothers. Our father was a hacendado. He had a ranch, very, it was very large. It had a lot of had a lot of assets to it, and he didn't want us to fight over it. So it was part of his will to just sell the whole thing and just give us all the money. But of course, we were well raised, so what do? We immediately pull all our money together and start a new venture.
Honorable way of doing things. And Fritz is like, yes, right? A real family business.
Yes.
All right. Well, we'll have to talk more, I think. There are
Definitely.
many opportunities in redemption.
Oh, yes, that sounds great. And I am hoping to stay in town for some time, so there should be plenty of time. And I was at your beautiful store today. It was very nice. I think that clearly have an eye. You must have known that redemption was going to be important long before we even caught wind of it.
Yes. I had heard some things about the railroad constructions early when I was first beginning the lines. I'd say I got lucky. But it's always a matter of knowing the right people to listen to.
You know, what I have heard about towns that get that grow because of the railroad is the community, I think, really has to invest in law enforcement, because with a lot of new people come a lot of bad people. So that is something that I think, as pillars of the community, you are going to have to be involved with as redemption grows.
I couldn't agree more, and I'm honestly rather disappointed that our sheriff hasn't put an end to this vigilante problem that we seem to have.
Oh, I heard about that today. There is a man in a mask.
Yes, rather embarrassing.
Oh, how is that embarrassing? It, if anything, it might get people talking about redemption that much more.
Well, sure, but it gets them talking about redemption as if this was the setting for some dime novel, not an actual place to do business.
I understand. Just it would be just because it is exciting doesn't mean it is good.
Indeed. I'd rather this be a solid town where the excitement is about new opportunities, not some man in a mask and wig shooting people.
Mm.
Do you have any
since you were
advice?
so kind. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, do you have any advice?
Any
for
advice?
Dealing? Yes.
Oh, I would not know where to even begin to find a vigilante. I have mostly stuck to books, so with a little bit of writing and shooting on the side, but only for fun.
She looks you over.
So no,
yes.
I could not tell you. Yeah.
Of course. Well,
So no,
what were you going to say
tell.
before?
Oh, I wanted to thank you both for the opportunity to get me here, and I was going to ask you if you wanted me to get you a drink, since at the very least I can be a helpful addition to your party.
Fritz is like, I'd love a drink. Thanks. They've got it somewhere. I'll take a beer.
Yes, I'll go ask around then, miss.
Oh, another glass of champagne, thank you.
All right. I'll scamper off and get him drinks and get some more lay of the land type stuff while I'm doing it.
Cool. So yeah, people are mingling, and you spot Abel Diaz. You also spot William Hollander, who is another investor. And as you guys are starting to get comfortable, some of the servants, you notice that actually the service has taken a pause, and there's a a little kind of chimey bell that rings, and a man starts walking down the staircase. This is Percy Miller is a tall, handsome man. He's wearing a perfectly tailored suit with tails. He's got a pair of cufflinks that are gold. That they, as he walks, has a starburst that's a sapphire in the center, and then little rays of diamonds coming out of them. And he's got a matching gold and blue signet ring on his right hand. He has neatly cut black hair, a bit of a widow's peak, lean, really perfect smile as he starts walking down, and everyone gets super quiet as they see him. So that is what Matthew, Rob, and Brian see. Rodrigo, Chema's been told that some members of your order can literally see evil, but you've never experienced it yourself.
Right.
Until now. As you look at Miller, you first see what I just described, and then you see veins of blackness on all of his exposed skin. His eyes are just as black, and his smile is actually fanged and menacing. And those veins don't stop with his clothing. They actually extend out from him, and you can see a sort of oily aura that's touching everyone present at the party. And Stephen?
Oh, I was just about to say it's a good time for me to do a detect undead.
Yeah, you don't even need to, because this is by far the most powerful ghost you've ever seen. Again, you have a sense, somewhat like you did with the zombies, that it is possessing its own body, but rather than being anchored to a specific point or obviously tied to a rune, it suffuses not only the man, but the entire room. There's spiritual tendrils reaching out to touch everyone here in a way that's both possessive and obviously malevolent.
Okay. I'll lean over to Eshin. Eshin, remember that thing we fought in the junkyard? This one is much, much, much worse. We need to alert the others.
What is it?
It's a very, very bad spirit.
Thank you all for coming. I'm so happy to see this gathering. And then people who got the special descriptions, why don't you guys both make me bluff
Will
checks?
saves.
Well, will saves and bluff checks.
Well, this ought to be fun.
Bluff saves and will checks.
Oh,
Actually, why doesn't everyone give me a will save?
So bluff.
I'll go ahead.
I was going to say bluff
Should I
check
even
for
bother?
me is 18.
Okay.
And then we're supposed to do roll for will.
Not quite my worst. Okay. Ah.
Hey, all right, Brian.
Hey!
Oh no, I just rolled the same as Ash and
We're all going to die. The wormhole has opened up in time and space.
Well, I botch.
Oh, my goodness.
Good times.
So you just can't help but stare at him, Chema. I mean, because this is something entirely new to you, and in some ways, it's like looking into the sun. It's just so bright,
Overwhelming.
Yes, utterly overwhelming, and you feel physically nauseated.
It's all you can do not to go, all right.
And what was your bluff check, Stephen?
My bluff check was 18.
Cool.
And my will check was 26.
Great. And we had those. Okay. And so, as he's walking down, he very knowingly looks at both. He's scanning the crowd clearly and nodding to a few people. He the mayor is at the banister and he shakes his hand. But he very knowingly makes eye contact with both Russell and Chema and smiles again, that horrible malevolent smile.
Oh.
So thank you so much for coming to hear my latest business opportunity. The new technologies are providing new opportunities, and I'm expanding my line to gain access to the bounties of coal in West Virginia and continue fueling its growth across these great United States. And he steps up to the table and pulls the sheet off rather dramatically, and there is a diorama.
I knew it.
You can see like a kind of tiny little town that's clearly a representation of redemption, and it goes then there's a railway that goes a long ways. This is clearly be crossing multiple states, and kind of ends at like another little town effectively that seems to have little like mining carts and a little mine set up. And as you look at it, this is also like there's lots of forest that this thing is cutting through. And just because why don't and Alder, you can make me a knowledge nature check.
Ooh.
What about Eshin?
Eshin, nothing. You would not necessarily. Actually, you can make me one too.
Woo! Yeah,
Nice roll, Matthew.
It's spreading.
Ah.
I got
Um,
15.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
It's spreading.
those trees are weird. Eshin,
Tiny trees, run.
you think that at least one of those, like, so, this was really impressively crafted. You're, kind of impressed by it, despite the fact that you've never seen anything like this. But it's tiny and fascinating. And you think that the trees were actually made relatively accurately to represent different types of forests that this thing is going through. And one of the forests is clearly an alder forest.
Hmm.
Um,
I know that name.
And he says, I really, he like looks out into the crowd, and looks first from Russell and then to Mr. Palmer, who's very close to him. Couldn't have done this without you, Mr. Palmer. And Mr. Palmer kind of gives a like thin-lipped nod. It's like, your innovations in coal have shown me the vast potential to grow my empire and make this just a far more connected country, and Redemption the center of it all. I envision this as a beautiful hub spreading from coast to coast, bringing fuel and goods and people, and wonderful regular job opportunities for the people who stay here and for those who would come and seek their fortunes. And of course, speaking of fortunes, I'm looking for anyone who's gathered here who might be interested in investing in my project. I can promise that the returns will be excellent. And people burst into applause and people start surrounding him.
Ah, very nice.
I make my way over to Chema. Chema, are you okay?
You can see it.
I can't. This is bad. This is really bad.
Yes. Well, I do not think my senses are as honed as yours are, but this is perhaps the most evil thing I have ever seen.
Agreed. We need to let the others know, and we need to get some people
It
out
is
of this
just
party.
Alder here. I'm assuming Eshin already knows.
Yes, he does. And I think we need to maybe try to encourage some people to leave now.
I was not expecting to find this. I am not sure how to proceed, but let us see if we can get away and get Eshin here.
Is this
not Eshin, but Alder?
Alder, do you think related to your item?
Almost certainly.
Okay. Do you think he has it on him?
he might. Did you see any markings on him?
No, not like what we'd seen before. This is just a being of pure evil.
Okay, let us see if we can get some place where we can confer, see what Alder's take is on this.
Yeah, we've got to stay close to the Palmers.
Yes, of course.
Speaking of, as you're talking, William Palmer walks up and looks over at Chema. Is like, I don't believe I've met you.
I'll compose myself. Oh, just Jose Perez. Good. It is nice to meet you.
And what brings you to this party?
An investment opportunity.
Really?
Yes.
What are you looking to invest in?
Railroads, a storefront, anything that can get us a foothold in the gateway to these great United States.
Want to make me a fresh bluff check?
Okay.
Fresh bluff.
Where is it? Oh, it's under the B's.
Bees?
That is where we keep things.
Nice.
Well, this is appropriate.
No.
Yeah. You keep talking, and your eyes just you're just clearly looking right past him at Miller. It's like he puts his hand in front of your face and says, "Why are you really here?"
So this is the guy that Russell is backing, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'll undo one of the buttons on my coat and give him a quick flash from under it.
Mm-hmm. Of the badge?
Yep.
He nods. What business does the Mexican government have?
And in this case, let us call it antiquities trafficking.
Don't do anything. No, go on.
Oh, and I believe our host is at the center of it.
Don't do anything stupid. Come see me after the party.
Hmm.
And he nods to Russell and says, "You too."
Yes, sir. And might I suggest you take your wife away from here in case any influence or harm might come to her or the baby?
He looks over and sees, while you have been here, you having been previously assigned to wife duty,
right?
Mr. Miller is talking to his wife.
Start to move over.
He has the wife's hand in hers and is like, "Oh, what a blessed event, Mrs. Miller. I could not congratulate you enough. I really do look forward to meeting your new child. Any feelings on whether it's a boy or a girl this time?" And she's like, "Oh, I think it's another girl. William says I should be resting, but I really did want to see a party. I haven't had fun in far too long." He's like, "Oh, well, I'm so glad that you could come. You're really gracing us with your beautiful presence." And she smiles.
Oh, excuse me, Mrs. Palmer.
Yes?
Your husband wanted to have a word with you. I'm sorry to interrupt. Hello, Mr. Miller.
He grins at you. It's like, "Oh, did he now?" It's like Mrs. Palmer walks past you to head towards William and says, "And who are you?"
Oh, I'm Russell. I'm helping Mr. Palmer tonight. Just in general bodyguard duties, with so much money here.
Oh, I've got things well under control. I don't think we'll have any type of security issues here tonight, but I appreciate a man of caution like Mr. Miller.
Of course. Yes.
And you're not one of his railroad workers, are you? Not in that garb. Chinese, is it?
Yes, it is. I'm actually a carpenter that he brought in to work on the temple here in town.
Curious. Brought a carpenter to work on the temple. I don't see why he couldn't have just hired Maria to do such a thing.
It's specialty work, and certainly with the large Chinese labor that's here, Mr. Palmer thought it might be best to have someone that understood the community and its needs.
Oh, Palmer does love his houses of worship. And speaking of the community and its needs, I can't help but notice that you're not Chinese.
That's correct.
And so how did you come to be so well acquainted with those traditions?
I was adopted by them many years ago.
Really? I wonder what circumstances.
It's probably not best to talk about it in a great gathering like this with so many people who are interested in talking with you about investing in this grand plan of yours.
Oh, there's plenty of time to talk business. I find you fascinating.
I appreciate that, Mr.
I'm
Miller.
gonna grab Eshen's lapel. I mean,
Okay.
you need to get him out of here.
But yes, I think that I need to be over there with Mrs. Palmer at the moment. So
Oh, I'm sure I'll see you again soon.
I'm sure we will meet. It is a small town right now.
Yes, but growing every day.
Yes, and I start to walk away from him and backing up with my eyes locked on his eyes. I'm not going to give him the two fingers to the eye and pointing at him, but he knows what I mean.
He seems more than happy to make eye contact with you.
Anything weird goes on? Do I get a soul gaze whenever when I make an eye contact with him?
You do not this guy is terrifying.
Yeah.
You feel much like how Chema feels nauseated. You effectively have the shaken status right now. You are just afraid of him.
Okay.
Dang.
Was Chema trying to tell me that I need to get Russell out of here?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
Well, away from him anyway.
As you guys are talking, another pair of guests actually enter that you previously haven't met. There's a kind of thin man with kind of sandy brown hair, wearing a slightly travel rumpled suit. Actually, no, sorry, his suit is brand new, fresh. And he's got a very attractive woman with him. She's got grayish blue eyes and dark brown hair, and is wearing a incredibly elegant dress. And as you start walking away, Mr. Miller walks over to him, is like, "Oh, Arthur, and you brought the lovely Miriam with you. So glad you could make it. Fashionably late. You missed my presentation." And Arthur says, "Oh, I'm terribly sorry. We do have things to discuss." It's like, "Oh, well, of course. Have some champagne and enjoy yourself."
So now that I know what Miller is, as I look around the room, do I see anything else? Like when I look at the waitstaff, the guards?
So you're having the same problem that Chema is, which is just anytime you start turning that on, it's like, boom, right back to Miller. You cannot seem to focus properly on trying to use that power in the room. It's like trying to spot whether or not a Christmas light is on during broad daylight.
Okay.
His power is just overwhelming.
Wow. All right. I continue to walk over to the Palmers.
So yeah, you walk over, and William is talking to his wife and saying, I think we should probably leave for the night. This might be a bit more excitement. She's like, oh, I'm fine. We should stay for the dancing. And he's like, sighs.
Probably not best to stick around. Dancing, at least from the doctors that I grew up with, dancing while you're in your condition, ma'am, is not great for the baby.
You are no fun at all. I thought you were hired to protect me, and I suppose you're trying to be protective.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. You may take me home.
Okay. And tip my hat to Mr. Palmer. Sir, Eshin will stay here and protect you. And if you think you might need me back here, I would be happy to return after I drop your wife off.
He shakes his head. Just stay at my home. Watch her.
Very well. So I look over to Chema, give him a nod.
Mm-hmm.
I look around for Alder. I guess I don't see Alder.
Do you see Alder?
Oh, what is Alder doing?
That's a good question. I have no idea. I'm sorry.
He passed out drunk this early at the party.
Oh, please. It'd take a lot more than that. No, I suppose. So how many people are present?
You'd say maybe close to 100.
Lots and lots of people. So there's a chance that Alder may have just been hanging about and wandering through and in and around and clearly didn't notice the evil, malevolent ghost.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have any... As far as you can tell, that is a handsome, well-dressed man.
Okay. Alder is probably in and about a knot of people and telling people about the time he saved Christmas. Or something thematically appropriate.
They have Christmas in this world.
Shut up.
Do you want to make a diplomacy check?
And
Yes,
that's when he saved the Christmas tree.
Roll for
sure
saving
do.
Christmas, Matthew.
Ooh, I get a plus 25. Because Christmas.
Yes.
Okay, did I have to explain that one?
No.
What am I rolling? I got confused.
Diplomacy.
You get plus
Oh, that's a
25 on a
good
D12.
I'm pretty awesome like that. Booyaka! How about a
Nice.
20?
Nice.
Woohoo!
Cool.
I'm
So,
a-
yeah,
I'm a diplomacer, is
Yeah.
what it is.
this is actually like a little tougher crowd than what you're used to because railroad workers and drunks tend to be a lot
Yes.
easier to entertain. But you find like a few people who have already gotten a little tipsy and they are very excited to hear your stories about going and picking fresh holly so that you could decorate the town.
There was actually a barn owl, nearly as big as myself. It was just simply fascinating. And this owl wanted to make sure that I did not have any holly from the particular branch. Now, this I took as a challenge, and perhaps it was a bad idea. I mean, the owl clearly didn't. Nonetheless, I may possibly have punched him. It was complicated. Still, that is where Alder is at this time.
All right. So obviously he's oblivious to the goings on outside of his immediate area. So I escort Mrs. Palmer out the door and down the road.
Cool.
As we're walking, I just politely ask, so how is your pregnancy coming along?
Oh, it's all right. I mean, they say that the first one is the hardest, but honestly, this one is no picnic. My ankles are swollen, and I'm still sad that I wasn't able to make it to Mexico, though I don't know what happened to poor the Greenwoods. I was really hoping to hear all about it and that they'd share the stories, but
Were the Greenwoods expected back by now?
yes, of course, they should have been back almost 2 weeks ago.
Oh. And no one has sent word?
No, it's very strange.
Perhaps they were delayed, or perhaps they were having more fun?
I hope it's the latter.
That's good. I hope. I hope nothing has come of him. How well do you know Mr. Miller and his... does he have a wife?
Oh, no, he's single, very eligible bachelor, considering his fortune.
Okay, so how well do you know him?
Oh, not especially well, I suppose. I think my husband knows him reasonably, but he honestly likes to cut a bit of a mysterious figure about town.
He kind of spooks me.
How so?
I don't know. Do you know how when you're walking down the street at night by yourself? Well, of course you wouldn't. You're Mrs. Palmer, but maybe as a young child, maybe you remember being alone and just getting this weird feeling like something wasn't right.
Like someone walked over your grave?
Or, yeah, something like that, or something was about to grab you and do horrible things to you.
Well, maybe you're just uncomfortable around very rich men.
Could be. Maybe I'm just nervous about walking down alleys at night.
Well, you seem strong. I'm sure that things will be okay. And, I think most people have cleared out of town by now.
Yes. So, not getting any additional information, I just continue to escort her to her home, and when we get there, your husband asked me to wait until he got home. I'll be more than happy to sit here in the parlor, ma'am, while you go about your business.
Oh, that's very thoughtful of him. I think I will get some rest.
If you need anything, just holler and I will come running.
Oh, thank you very much.
And I will start locking the doors and the windows.
Cool.
And looking out the window.
So Miller will also, since Alder is having this lovely gathering, will come up to see what the conversation is about there. And say, like, oh, Dr. Barton, so glad you could make it. And you brought your young assistant, too.
Yes, hello.
Hi. Very pleased to meet you. I don't know that we've met before. Percy Miller. He extends his hand.
Alder takes it. I don't believe we have. I would certainly remember. You have a lovely home, by the way.
Thank you. I always try to keep up with the latest fashions, the latest editions. And he looks over at Maria. She's done wonderful work. Mayor Ford is like, yes, seems like this place is always under construction. He nods and smiles. Yes, there's always more that can be added.
Certainly.
Where are you from?
Oh, me?
Yes, you.
South Carolina. It's a lovely territory. I highly recommend visiting when you have the time.
Oh, well, my new line will go very close to there, so I'm sure I'll have some occasion.
I recommend there are actually several lovely swamps and at least 2 forests, which I have to say are life-changing in many different ways. But nonetheless, yes.
Swamps and forests, you say? That's interesting things to be interested in. Most people recommend historical homes or fine restaurants to me.
That is an option as well. You won't find nearly as many entertaining lichens. I find that there's actually a particular type of I don't know how to describe it other than to say that it's almost luminous and it glows. And in the early evening, you can actually stand and just watch as though the sun were flashing across the lichens. It looks like an ocean, but it's really just mushrooms. And that's quite fascinating.
sounds lovely. I've never been much of a, botany enthusiast myself. I prefer more crafted by human ingenuity things. But Miriam, he like gestures and she perks up and is like, you like plants? She like kind of rolls her eyes slightly and walks over. It's like, yes, I do. It's like, please regale Miriam with the stories of your forests and swamps. And
That
she's
feels
like, yes.
weird to me. That feels very weird. Did Alder notice that felt weird, or is that just Matthew thinking this whole thing felt weird?
You can make a sense motive.
I may. Do I even have that?
Well, you can roll it on trained even if you don't.
Yeah, if you don't have it, you can make a wisdom check.
Okay. I have a thing in it. Does that mean I have a thing?
If you have a modifier, roll whatever the modifier is.
Okay. Yeah, it's just a modifier. I thought it was trained for a moment. I'm bad at reading character sheets, is all I'm saying.
So you got a 20?
I can't tell. It's taking a moment for me to roll.
Okay.
I think that was the last roll.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Oh, right. That was your diplomacy check.
Yes.
Yeah.
It still says rolling the dice. I think I broke the internet.
Oh no!
Hey, I got a 10.
Oh.
Huh. Weird that doesn't even show up on my roll 20.
Not showing up.
Yeah.
There
There
it
it
is.
is. Now I got
Wow.
it.
A lot of people gaming tonight on roll 20.
So as far as you're concerned, Miller is just being a very courteous host who is trying to guide people who have like interests. And Miriam perks up actually at the mention of swamps and forest and is very interested.
Excellent. I continue telling her of the wonderful swamps and the point where the forest actually reaches the swamp, where occasionally you'll be fine, except for when the alligators come, of course. But you can.
And how much time have you spent in this forest and swamp?
Somewhere between 5 and 12 years, I would say.
Really?
I'm not the best when it comes to time. But I can tell you that when you're gathering, the most fascinating part is you literally can walk in and start looking at the roots, and you look at the things, and you look up, and suddenly it is night. So that makes for a wonderful verisimilitude in terms of the gathering of whatever materials you're looking for.
Yes, you can certainly learn a lot from a plant's roots. So were you born in a forest?
Well, I wasn't actually aware of it, but perhaps.
Huh, curious. And then what brought
My
you to
mother comes
redemption?
from a forested area.
Does she now?
Yes.
What does your mother do?
She has a very interesting going concern in it's a growth industry, one could say. Not nearly to the point of your railroads. Really more.
I'm not involved in the railroads. I'm just an assistant.
I know the feeling. I too am an assistant. Occasionally,
it's a thankless job.
Exactly. Sometimes when someone is the actual person and the assistant is sitting there, and you feel as though you're doing nothing, and then some days you feel as though perhaps you're doing too much, but always these things happen.
I could not agree more. Was that your dog outside?
Yes, yes. Dawn is in fact my friend and associate.
She's beautiful. Part coyote?
Oh, so you've noticed that.
Oh, yes.
We have a saying. Sometimes you dot your smims and cross your fouders, and you still don't know for sure. So I would say probably yes and partially no and yes.
Well, it's a very distinctive look. And speaking of distinctive looks, she her eyes move and she like looks over at Eshin, who is like easily one of the tallest people here. I don't suppose you know who that is.
I do, in fact. He is an associate of mine.
Oh, would you introduce me?
I don't see why not.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Eshin, come here for a moment.
Look around to see who's yelling.
You see Alder's hand coming out of a crowd of taller people.
Make sure I know where both Mr. Palmer and Mr. Miller are.
Miller is actually talking to August right now. So he's like, how is your business out on East?
Oh, it's going great, going great. We are really working on some new projects here. We really feel like we're getting close to cracking the last few hurdles on being able to do images effectively. It's something we're really working hard on here.
I'm so interested in new technologies. You'll have to explain all of that to me. I'm not much of my engineering expertise, obviously, is more focused on trains than telegraphs. Now, will that still require some form of training on your part to learn the new technology?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely something I'm keeping up with, because I'm probably going to have to be the one who's more or less the head of that project here. Once we do get it rolling, it's going to be fairly extensive. I mean, we are always constantly working on doing what we can to increase traffic, to make sending and receiving messages more efficient. It is just something we are always working on. Keeps me pretty busy, always coming and going as I try to keep things tip-top.
Yeah. Well, it's good that you have such a skilled assistant to handle your business when you're out.
Absolutely. I do not know how I'd get by without him. It's just
trustworthy allies are so hard to come by.
Definitely. I mean, it's kind of tough, maintaining a competitive business. It's difficult, but I really enjoy seeing what you're doing here. I definitely think, we'll have to come with some arrangements. I definitely feel like there'd be some good synergy here that we could certainly both benefit from.
Wonderful. And I'd love to, of course, need a telegraph office set up at the West Virginia destination, probably some of the points along the way. So we can perhaps work out some arrangements with you and Western Union.
Definitely. It'd be greatly appreciated, and I would very much looking forward to working with you.
Lovely. Thank you again for coming.
Oh, absolutely.
So Eshin is able to meet up with Alder?
Yeah.
Real quick, Chema's gonna go outside.
Okay.
Like, I'm guessing there's like a patio of some kind or something where he wouldn't have to leave the facilities.
Yeah, there's a patio that's like right out.
So he's just gonna go get some air.
There's a patio right outside where some people are smoking.
Okay, that's
cool.
Somehow better.
Okay. Yes, it is actually a lot better.
Yeah.
And actually, we'll say Fritz is out there. He's got like a cigar and is chatting with some other people. And it's like, you need a smoke, Chema? You seem a little pickled.
Yes, I think in my eagerness to sample the local cuisine, I think I may have had something earlier that did not agree with me.
Yeah. It's one of those great things about Redemption is there's kind of a fusion. I've got some native German fare that comes around, but then a lot of obviously Mexican fare, then things from both coasts, and sometimes they don't always mix properly.
Yes. I just need to get some air. I'm going to take a quick walk around the patio, but I hope you're having a good night so far.
Oh, yes, lovely party. Really excited about this opportunity. Hope you're enjoying yourself and that your stomach isn't putting too much of a damper on things.
Oh no, I just need a little bit of time, and then I will be right back to business.
Cool. So yeah, Alder and Eshin. And then so yeah, Miriam walked over with Alder and like looks you up and down. What kind of hat are you wearing to for your disguise item?
Something that would have been in the catalog that
probably a derby
was shown.
Yeah, like a derby or top hat would work.
Right.
Just curious.
Probably a derby then.
Looks you over. It's like, my, you're new, aren't you? I think I'd recognize someone as tall as you.
Yeah.
Oh, tall, dark, and quiet. My, you're a charmer.
Okay.
Where did you find this man, Alder?
Actually, in a swamp.
Really? In a swamp? Fascinating.
As I said, you find amazing things in any swamp.
I didn't think you found... What is your name?
Eshin.
Eshin? Really? Curious name.
It's a family name.
Haha. A family from a swamp. Delightful! This party has already been so much more than I could have asked for. Well, you two both must tell me about the swamp. And she like reaches out and like, in a very like semi-flirtatious way, puts her like one hand on both of your hands.
Okay, is this weird yet? Okay.
Make a sense motive check.
Okay. Because I am like sitting here going, oh my God, warning, warning. And Elder is like, so yes, lovely with the ham and the sandwiches.
I appreciate the excellent role playing.
Well, I mean, if he doesn't know, he doesn't know. Yeah. Hey, a 7. He totally thinks this woman is into him.
Yeah, this woman is very into him and possibly also Eshin. It's exciting.
She's definitely feeling the Elder, if it will. Okay. Yeah, that's gonna get weird. Yeah. What was the question? I'm sorry.
You must tell me more about your swamps.
Yes. The fascinating part is if you get in certain areas, you'll actually find just miles and miles of area where it's literally up to your ankle deep, but it's just endless, and you'll find strange creatures and plants you've never imagined. I found some plants once that I honestly don't know what they are. They might be related to the cattail. They might have something to do with what is the word? I don't know, but I will tell you that I don't recall much of what happened after I tasted them. But I believe that it was quite entertaining.
You must be careful.
I agree. That is one of the major things you run into in my line of work. Is sometimes you will taste something and have an unexpected effect.
Oh, and what line of work is that?
Well, as you know, I am the herbalist here in the city. I work with the doctor and provide remedies and tinctures and the occasional puncture.
What a useful skill. And you, Eshin, tell me about your swamp.
It's where my family lives.
And what does your family do?
Lead?
And are you in the family business?
Not particularly.
Seems like a tough business to be in. And if your family are the leaders, what are you doing all the way out here?
Gathering assistance?
Well, and have you been successful?
Kind of look down at Alder. Maybe.
She nods. Good. A man should see the world. Well, I should get back to my employer. It's been a true pleasure meeting both of you. She shakes both of your hands.
Alder does the suave kiss the hand thing.
She smiles.
Yeah, she's
Eshin is
totally
very, very awkward.
She smiles even broader at that.
Does the hat of disguise actually hide texture and feeling?
So they would only basically they'd get a will save. But they'd have to kind of be suspicious that this was an illusion to begin with, and she doesn't seem to react.
Okay. Because there's also a touch of terror when he shakes her hand.
Yep.
Terror.
It's all cold and clammy, slimy.
Ew.
Be slimy. He's a lizard, not a amphibian.
Slimy.
He feels like a suitcase.
That's
rich Corinthian leather.
So Chema is sitting out on the patio, and there's a bit of like a bustle behind him.
In the headroom.
It's just some people talking, and then you hear Miller's voice. And it's like, oh, so glad that you're all enjoying yourself. And he is clearly walking towards you.
Yeah. I'll try to keep it together.
And says, and who might you be?
Jose Perez.
Yes, I think the Raquel mentioned that she was bringing you an investor.
Yes. Among other things.
And what sort of other things?
Oh, explorer, bon vivant, that sort of thing.
Yes, I found people are rarely simply one thing. And have you found anything worth investing in?
Oh, many things. Just spending some time with Fritz has revealed many things that are worth looking into.
I don't think that this is going to work out for you.
No, I think you are right. And Chema will stand up, and in every way, he's just going to hold it together and square up to him and be like, I think this very well may be my very last adventure in this case. But I look forward to making an impact.
You should go home.
I will, once my business is concluded.
Noble.
Yes, well. sometimes there's a job and somebody has to do it.
And do your brothers back home feel the same way?
Oh, yes. Let's just say I am the runt of the litter. If I can't get this done, maybe someone else will follow up.
I like dogs. They are loyal when you know how to train them.
Oh, that is true. But even the tamest of dogs still has fangs. Always important to remember.
Yes, it is. And he smiles, and you can see those fangs of his.
Sure.
Well, I'm sure we will see each other again soon.
I would certainly count on it. You will forgive me, but I believe I have gathered everything I needed for tonight, so I must make my exit.
Of course. Please. I'm glad you found this party fruitful. I certainly did.
All right. Chema will just walk off.
Cool. He watches you go.
Okay. I'll go over to Fritz and be like, I am afraid, at least for the night, my indigestion is terminal. So, but I did get a chance to talk to our host, and I will make sure that everybody knows that it was you that helped me.
Oh, lovely. I'm so glad to hear it. Well, please feel better. If you're still feeling ill in the morning, or actually, one moment. I could get the doctor. She's here.
Oh, I would not want to interrupt her. Do you happen to know if there's somebody who can at least make me a tea or something in town?
Oh, yeah. Her assistant, Alder. He's also here, I believe. I can grab him for you, or get someone else to grab him for you. He like grabs a servant that's holding like a tray of dessert and says, "Go get Alder." And the guy's like, "Yes, sir," and then ducks inside. And then Fritz keeps puffing on his cigar. And you see a kind of befuddled looking server who's like surreptitiously asking some people, is like, "Do you know who Alder is?" Alder?
And everybody at once points at Alder.
Yes.
Yes. He's like, someone's sick outside?
Oh, well, let me come assist you.
I say,
thank you.
before the guy gets there, after the lady leaves us, Eshen's going to lean over to Alder, or possibly kneel down since the height difference,
I'm not
to let him know that
5'6", 5'7".
Miller is apparently evil.
Wow.
Wait, what?
Real subtle.
He's being quiet.
I think
make a bluff check, both of you.
A bluff check. Okay.
What's that? Oh, right. My charisma is actually decent.
That's where you roll a thing.
Ha!
It's another thing.
Nice.
Really good,
I
Rob.
doubled my check.
Yay.
That's the way to look at it.
Let me see what I can do. Oh, crap. I suck too. A 13.
You doubled his.
So, as you guys are like leaning into this conspiratorial huddle,
What? What
Miller
are you
actually
talking about?
walks back in from having talked to Chema outside, and you guys both look at him, and he looks at you and just smiles and shakes his head and walks on.
Shakes his head in a sad way, like, "Oh no, 2 more people," or in a nodding, knowing way of, "Aha, gotcha."
Some combination of gotcha and this is almost too easy.
Okay.
Halfway between "Oh, you fool" and "I'll eat your soul."
Yeah, more like that.
By the way, have I told you how terrifying your Miller voice is? By the way,
That's great.
Oh,
Fantastic.
thank you.
I'm like scared of this guy.
Yikes! That's the intended effect.
Alder's not, because Alder is clearly oblivious to the whole thing. But okay, so yes. Oh, hold that. I will be back once I find out who is. Stay here. And Alder heads towards the area of the person who may be sick.
Cool.
Eshin will go back to protecting Mr. Palmer.
Palmer is sitting, kind of watching things fairly withdrawn. And actually, Miller will walk over to him as well as he's making the rounds and say, "Oh, your wife turned in early," and he says, "Yes, it was a bit of a push for her to come out." It's like, well, I'm so glad she did. It's really lovely to see her, and what a imposing bodyguard you've acquired for yourself for the evening. He looks at Ashton and is like, "Can never be too careful." Miller
Eshin smiles in what looks like bared fangs. Because it would actually just be bared fangs if he wasn't human right now.
Nice. I was like, your first trip to the big city, huh?
Second.
Oh.
Rob is so good at this.
And when was the first one?
A while ago.
Well, welcome. I trust you're learning the laws of the land well.
Yeah.
Good. Enjoy the festivities.
Okay.
He walks off. Trying to think if there's anything else I haven't hit. Oh, so Alder goes out and finds Chema.
Mm-hmm. Hello. They told me there was someone feeling ill on the patio.
Yes, that is me. I'll like put my arm around his shoulder. Think you can make me a tea?
Absolutely, yes. What sort of illness are we expecting?
Oh, I'll let you know all about it on the way there. By the way, when like Chema puts his arm around you, like if like you can tell that his hands are shaking.
Okay.
And they're like clammy and sweaty too.
Yes, perhaps we should return to my office, or
yes, that would work.
The boarding house. Let's go to my office, I believe.
Okay. Chema will straighten up and follow him.
Ooh, I think that's a good place to end this week's episode. How scary crazy has this become?
Scary crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely scary crazy. All right, everybody, this is the chance for you to get on the Twitter. Send out those tweets. Hashtag critical hit OMG. I can't believe that this just happened. Hashtag critical hit. That's what you need to do.
Hashtag
critical hit. OMG. I can't believe this happened. Hashtag critical hit.
So what you're saying is that will be the entirety of the tweet because you're clearly out of character
Yes.
at that point.
Yes, you've used 140 characters with the exclamation points alone.
And you have to tag all of us.
Yeah. Oh, yes. And then once you tag all of us,
Hashtag Stinson out.
At Fearsome Critter, at Mighty King Cobra, at Bora Mortal, at D&D Brian, at Sam Nelson 1, Samantha Nelson 1. I'll get this right one of these days.
That's
at
cool.
Major
No, you
Spoilers. Oh, that will use up your tweet. I want to see him come rolling in bright and early Saturday morning when you're done listening
I think
to this.
handles are now free.
They are
Yeah.
free. It's very exciting.
And my thing is great because if you do that, it'll actually handle someone in like 5 times. I was talking to Samantha the other day, and there were like 4 of her in the conversation.
I think that only
It's free.
works in replies, though.
Probably
Not in your initial.
who
not in your
knows?
initial tweet.
These are
But
exciting
by
times
the-
to be alive.
By the time this comes out, they probably changed it again. So go have fun, listeners. And until
Hello,
next
future
time, here's hoping
tweeters.
all of your dice rolls are critical hits.
This podcast is copyright 2017 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC.